Hi everyone, welcome to another pick a card video reading on my channel. My name is Julie Ann Fay and I'm a certified angel card reader and a professional astrologer. On this channel, I do pick a card videos at the new and full moon, and I always send them out and coincide them with my email newsletter, which goes out twice a month at the new and full moon. So do make sure that you're subscribed to that. You can do so at julieannfay.com. So if you're new, welcome. If you're someone who's watched my pick a card videos before, welcome back. It's great to have you. And I'm excited to get into this video for you guys. Yeah, lots going on. I don't know how it has been for you all, but I'm definitely very relieved we're officially out of the post shadow of Mercury retrograde. Although I will say I'm really eager for Mercury to move into Cancer because it's been so much Mercury and Gemini energy, and it's been a lot of heavy intellectual things needing to go on. And I'm really looking forward to Mercury moving into Cancer, which will happen at the very beginning of next week, because it will quickly trine Jupiter, which is retrograde, but still in Pisces as of the time of recording this. And that will actually create a Mercury trine Jupiter, which will be really nice in water. A lot of beautiful emotions there, softer emotions, tenderness, feelings being expressed that maybe need to be expressed, having a cry that maybe you've been needing to have for weeks that like helps you kind of release energy. So lots of good stuff that can come through with that Mercury trine Jupiter, and I'm really excited about that. And yeah, so this new moon in Cancer, I have membership groups. My Fearlessly Fairy group is for cards, and then Astro Fairy, which is for astrology. And in my Astro Fairy group, I do an entire chart walkthrough what the new moon is and all the different energies within it. And this new moon is, an interesting one because the moon itself is actually not being impacted as much as other stuff that's going on in the astrology. So kind of as usual, Leo steals the show, right? So even though it's a new moon in Cancer, the more interesting things going on in the astrology are actually with Venus and Mars in Leo that now it's past, but they're still within orb opposing Saturn. So lots of things going on with relationships, and you would want to look at what are Leo and Aquarius, what houses are those? Do you have energies in those spots? Because that's actually a really prominent part of what's being affected with this, and will be a lot more to come with that energy as we go later on into the month. So I would say that this is a little bit more of a gentler new moon, which is having you focus more on self-care and more relief, because we had that full moon in Capricorn, which this now would close out the cycle of, and now we're initiating a new 2-week cycle, which would be for 2 weeks with this new moon in Cancer. So that's what I have to say in terms of some astrological highlights. In my latest email newsletter, which will be going out along with this video, I'm also doing shout outs to a couple new spiritual business partnerships that I've been doing recently. So do make sure you check it out. I will be showing you some love from my friend Julia and her art business, where she makes amazing goddess and divine feminine artwork. I was totally all up talking about it in my Insta story and my post lately. So some of you may have already seen it there. And we have done something special to create a coupon code for our mutual Etsy shops. And you can see that in that email newsletter. So definitely do check that out, as well as some things I've been doing with Aloha Bay candles. So you can see all of that in my email newsletter, and highly recommend you check that out. And yeah, there will be lots more coming ahead. I have some ideas of things I want to create and put in my Etsy shop. So do make sure you're also following me there. And I'm excited to be here for you all. I will say, please, if you watch this video, take the time to make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a like, drop a supportive comment. Those are all free things you could do. It takes just a few moments of your time, not even, to do that. And it really does help grow my channel, which is a very small channel, right, at the time of recording this. And, you know, it's just a small act that you can do, which does not cost you anything. And it's a way to help small businesses and content creators. So I can't emphasize that enough, because I do go and look at things and I see, you know, I can look at, you know, some things about visitors and stuff like that. And I really, really want to encourage people to do those things, because it's very important to do so. And what else do I want to say there? I think that's everything I want to say there. I know this is very random, and I was going to do a post on my Insta story. I may still do so, but I'm going to just share it on my YouTube channel, because maybe this is something that will benefit you. It's not really related to spirituality, so pardon this if this isn't your bag. But I actually have a basically almost like new webcam that I bought, which it's a long story, but I have too many webcams right now. And I'm trying to save up to afford the previous style webcam that I had in my earlier YouTube videos, which was like super HD, like ultra good quality. So right now I'm on yet another webcam, but that one broke. I'm on yet another webcam that is good, but not in my heart and mind as crisp and deliciously beautiful as that one was. I did buy this one in the process of trying to figure out which one I want. And this one's really cute because it comes with a built-in ring light. And this is a perfectly good webcam for doing Zoom meetings or just like regular Zoom usage. I probably wouldn't recommend it for like recording videos on YouTube like I'm doing, but for basically anything else, it's totally good. And I still even have it in the box. So if you are interested in buying a webcam from me, I would be happy to sell that to someone. And you can hit me up at juliannefay@gmail.com or message me on Instagram if you'd like instead, and let me know if you're interested in that. It's a super cute one, and I'd love to gift it, not gift it, but sell it to someone that, you know, is also into spirituality. And I know it's going to like a loving and good home. Even though it is a piece of technology, it still deserves love. And if you're doing that, you will actually be contributing to help me afford a new webcam for my YouTube channel. So you'll actually be helping me out in so doing. I'll also mention that I do have a PayPal link in the description of this video, which is a place you can go to leave donations. I even have it set up where if you'd like to leave a small donation recurring month to month, you can do so. And all of that really does help me so much with paying for various things that come along with being a content creator and running a small business. So if you can do so and that appeals to you, please go ahead and do so. So without further ado, let's roll into the pick a card portion of this, because that's why we're all here. I'm gonna just do a little singing bowl for us. So just a little bit of extra calm. We've had a round of thunderstorms come through where I am again. We keep having thunderstorms this week, and we even lost power where I'm at earlier this week. So there's been a lot going on energetically. And I will also say, and I had posted about this on my Insta story, I don't know how many people, well, I sometimes do look at how many people see things, but I wasn't checking this one obsessively. But some people, there's a very prominent spiritual teacher that had been saying in their email newsletter, and they're not an astrologer, they do other things in metaphysics, and they're very good at the other things they do in metaphysics, but sometimes they try to dip into other realms of metaphysics and spirituality that maybe they're not as well versed in, and they tend to like overgeneralize and things like that, which can be very frustrating when you're doing that branch of astrology professionally like I am, which is astrology, as well as card readings. And they were saying that this new moon was in opposition to Pluto. And as a professional astrologer, I can say I would disagree with that because of the orbs, and the orb amount that we give Pluto is very narrow. So just to give you some context, so this new moon is at 18 degrees of Cancer, and Pluto, I believe, is transiting around 24, 25 degrees at the moment. It's, you know, obviously at the very end of Pluto, but it moves extremely slowly. So that's a pretty wide orb. That's like about, it might even be up to 26 degrees. But, you know, anytime if it's like a 6 or 7 degree orb with Pluto, that's pretty wide for Pluto. We would give Pluto like a 1 to 3 degree orb because it's very, very small and potent. So its impact is felt the most intensely when it's really close to you. But the further you get, it's not the same as like a sun moon orb or even Saturn or Jupiter. It's definitely treated differently. So you may have seen, you know, I don't want to name any names, but you may have seen that teacher saying that in their email newsletter, or just some people that maybe receive that and then, you know, regurgitate that. And I would disagree with that. It's a picky thing, but I think it's important that we are understanding astrology is a mathematical spatial language, and it does have a set of rules. You know, it's not, we make it up as we go along. You know, it's like a very practiced, I call it a sacred science or spiritual science. So it's a practiced divination art in the same way that crystals are, right? We observe over time, okay, this crystal gives this benefits and people have reported that it works for you in this way. With astrology, these things kind of get ironed out over time. Like, okay, this planet brings in this archetype and this energy, and we would give it this orb and various things there, right? Also, shout out to Roxx Polish, which it's actually purple and red. It looks a little blue on my camera, but it is a really gorgeous purple. And I'm wearing amethyst and carnelian tonight. And she makes crystal infused nail polish, which is like totally non-toxic and cruelty-free and all of that. And I do have a coupon code with that, which you can see in my Eco Fairy guide, which is in the description of this video. But anyway, bit of a tangent, but I wanted to just emphasize that because it's important to understand, you know, my feeling on it is that when a particular new or full moon, or even just in general, major astrology transit is intense, right, and chaotic or whatever it might be, I will be straight up about that. I will, like my Astro Fairy members, you guys know, I gave you heads up about certain times of this month and said other times are really harmonious. I will be transparent about when it's kind of like that. But I think it's very important that we don't sensationalize astrology when the reality is not there, right? So if it's not really there in terms of like the math and the spatial aspects, but yet people are trying to like over sensationalize it or like overemphasize it as something that it's not, I think we have to be really careful about that, because it's one of those things like when it's good, let's celebrate that it's good. When it's challenging, let's celebrate that it's challenging and work with that too. And one of the things I really love about astrology is that it does teach us about kind of divine balance and karma, where there's things that are strengthening always going on, and then there are things that are challenging. And it's a metaphor for life, because in life, we never have like 100% perfect days every day, right? We have ups, we have downs, and that's always reflected in astrology. But astrology is not all bad, all challenging, all drama all the time. Sometimes it is soft and gentle, you know? So I think it's just important to understand that it's very nuanced, and that sometimes you will find, especially as astrology is becoming more mainstream, you will find certain people that maybe are trying to adopt it or take it on that aren't as experienced in it, you know? And I call sometimes like the memes and various things you'll find where it's like overgeneralized, I call that fast food astrology. You can consume it if you want, but it's going to have some kind of effect on you that's really different than if you make, you know, like a gorgeous salad and eat that from home with like a side of like, you know, whatever you want that's like really healthy on the side or something, you know? So different things. So now that that's said, let me show you guys, as I always like to do, the decks that I'll be using. And, you know, as a reminder, I will be using in your particular pile pick some, if not all of these decks. And, you know, I use my intuition. Sometimes certain piles may have more from one deck versus another, or none from one particular deck. I use my intuition, but I always like to give credit where it's due, and always do my best to inform you all of the decks that I use. So I've got this Chakra Love Oracle deck. which I got really recently. So those of you that watched the last video, this will look familiar, but I feel called to use it again. I'm just really enjoying it. Angel Tarot cards by DV and Radley Valentine. Have not worked with this one in a while. It's an oldie but a goodie. Also another oldie but a goodie, Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And then Spellcasting Oracle cards. You all, this is one of my most fave decks, and it's funny because I almost didn't buy it. It really didn't have a lot of like hype around it at all, but I stumbled upon it and I was like, this feels really good. And it's one of those where I just absolutely love it. It definitely has like a fae energy to it. And it's just like this perfect balance of like positive and encouraging while also having some energy that's like a little bit more straight on and real. So I just really love it. And this is by Flavia Kate Peters. And there's additional people listed here, but Flavia Kate Peters is on the top. I will also say I have a very growing, almost like bulging collection of Oracle and Tarot decks. And I'm always, you know, looking to kind of like update my library. So again, shout out if you're interested in potentially buying a couple decks off of me. That is something that I also would do. And again, those funds from that will help me to buy new decks to kind of re-inform the decks that I use on my channel and in my work, so be supporting my small business. So this is actually one I would consider selling, and I've showed before other ones. I have my Akashic Tarot by Sandra Ann Klingler. That's one that I would consider selling. And I have a couple others I might be able to consider, but sometimes I just get a vibe of like, yeah, I feel like it's time for this one to maybe be rehomed. And it's not like it's anything bad at all. It's just that maybe I don't use it as often as I thought, and it's time for me to kind of like change up the energy a bit. And of course, all of my decks are so well taken care of, unless like you're talking about some of my like real oldies that are like super worn out. I wouldn't really sell those. Sometimes I do gift certain decks to my friends and stuff, but anyway, so this is the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle, and actually I don't know who this is by. Yeah, it just shows lawn on the bottom, but Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. This is actually a deck because of the way that it's displayed, where you could even use this to set up like mini crystal grids. And that was actually one of the reasons why I bought it to begin with, was that I wanted to use the cards as almost like a mat to do crystal gridding on. Unfortunately, I don't really have the space for that, so it didn't happen, but that is something really cool that you could do with that. So those are the decks that I'm using. As I always like to do, I'm going to pause this video and queue up the 3 piles off camera, just because it's so much easier. And then I will BRB for the pile pick. All right, let's get into it. So as always, I like to remind people to make sure that when you're doing this pile pick, that you are doing this from a calm and grounded place. If you're a little bit sad, a little bit anxious, that's okay. But if you're very like desperate for an answer, tell me what I need to know. Like I'm like completely like in need of you to tell me what to do. That's not really the best energy to do this from. This is meant to be a source of guidance, love, direction, soothing, but it's definitely best done when you're in, you know, at least a semi-grounded or semi-calm receptive place, I should say. So take some time, take a deep breath, you know, close your eyes, just center yourself before you do this, pause this video, and or come back to this video at a later time if you need to. But I do recommend that very, very much, okay? So this is the energy of pile 1. The cards are all going to look the same from the back. So this is an opportunity for you to use your intuition and tune in to which pile is speaking to you. You can just clearly see if you get an intuitive hit about it. I like to also use my hand. You can use your hand as like a chakra system, because you do have a chakra in your hand, and you can get like an intuitive hit that way as well. So this is the energy of pile 1. This is the energy of pile 2. And this is the energy of pile 3. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. 1, 2, and 3. This is 1, 2, and 3 again. And with that being said, I am going to roll into pile 1. I need to do one quick thing and BRB. Pile 1 peeps, these are the cards for you. So let's take a look at what you got. And I also will be, oh, I love that. I can relate to this. As is usual, when I'm the reader, you know, anytime that someone's doing a reading for you, they're also part of it. So they're energetically part of it and receiving from it. And sometimes it's very important what's coming through for them as well. And I notice that with myself a lot, you know, where the messages that are coming through are super relatable to me, or also just like important for me to hear as well. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is that we all get to kind of heal and give and receive between each other through that process. So from the Chakra Love deck, I'm also going to shuffle for you guys here. We got 2 right away, but I wanted 1. And then I do also have my Astro dice. I may roll with those as well. But let me see what we got here. Okay. So this is interesting because I did kind of a message for myself, pulling some cards before I started doing this pick a card. And I was feeling that this is also definitely a message for me, but also a little bit of a message for the collective. And I did get some messages here around definitely abundance, but needing to also practice trying to just have fun with the process, trust that you're abundant and that, you know, the experience is good for you, but that there might be some energy here that could be heavy that you're needing to kind of practice things step by step, you know. So you guys do also have definitely this energy of happiness and abundance, pile 1 peeps, because we do have new beginnings and happiness. So something's going on, something's going down that you are feeling good about. That is this new chapter that's birthing itself or unfolding. You might be at the very, very beginning of that process, or maybe you're still feeling like, okay, I'm kind of still moving into that, but it's absolutely something good and it is here for you. This is something that you do feel pretty good about. With passion here, it's something that aligns with your soul. It's like it brings you that inner fire. It feels good to you, like you can still be in your power and in your fire by doing this thing. Really reinforcing this message, we have Queen of Fire and 9 of Earth. So, you know, Queen of Fire is all about like super confident, you know, woman, like Beyonce vibes here, right? Like being in your power. This could be also a very creative energy, a very leadership type of energy, even entrepreneurship to an extent as well, because we do have 9 of Earth, which is about being able to kind of reap the rewards of abundance and enjoy things in life. You know, in one of my decks, I love the way that they depict the 9 of, this is 9 of Pentacles, where they depict the 9 of Pentacles as this woman who's finally getting to sit and enjoy a glass of wine from grapes that she was cultivating and harvesting herself in the previous cards, like especially 7 of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles, you know. So I love the way it's like shown in that deck, because it shows you the progression of getting to kind of reap the rewards. So some of this like abundance and these luxuries are things that you've put in the work, that you've taken initiative on manifesting, and you're now getting to kind of like have the positive manifestations of that and actually like taste them and enjoy them and experience them. And we do have here from the Chakra Love, Chakra Balance Unity. The only illusion is separation, and the crystal recos are blue lace agate, amethyst, and new jade. So, this is saying that there's a harmony here between all of the chakras. With this energy too of unity, this is about potentially, using your talents and your ability as a leader and potentially as an entrepreneur to get people together. I know I've been going through this recently where just having so much joy and expansion through spiritual business partnerships, So there is definitely this kind of energy here about unity with others as a way to also amplify and support you and reinforce this leadership, entrepreneurial, and abundant energy. With blue lace agate, that's strongly linked to the throat chakra. Amethyst is crown chakra, spiritual activations, and jade is linked to the heart chakra. And it's also related to money very strongly. So a lot of vibes here about like being spiritually connected, speaking your truth, being in your power, and also abundance here again, Now, we do have these three cards, Observer and a Leg Up. And then we have Divine Feminine, okay, from the Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle. So this says, the frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. And this is card number 21, which would sum to a 3 in numerology, which is about, it's not quite as stable as 4, right? If we think of 4 is like the most stable, 3 is beginning to get stable. It's funny, I have this like really cute lantern and it is kind of 3-legged and it does sometimes knock over, which is like annoying, but it's got like 3 little legs. So there is this energy of like working towards mastery. 3 is also associated with the Ascended Masters, especially when it's like 333. So I think that this energy here with this a leg up and observer, it's definitely talking about the fact that getting together with other people is definitely going to help you out. It's going to give you this leg up, these partnerships or these ways in which you're collabing with other people, or even just in general bringing in new partnerships or new ways to sync up with people in your life is really going to help you out. Remember that Jupiter is in Pisces, but it's retrograde. And at the end of this month, it's going to go back into Aquarius and will be there for pretty much the rest of this year. So yes, we've had a taste of Jupiter in Pisces, but really moving into the end of this month and for many months there, we're going back into Jupiter in Aquarius energy, which means that there's more of that expansion energy when it comes to groups and community and friendship, So this is actually a really good time for you to be almost like getting ahead of the curve in certain ways with partnerships and getting together with people that maybe have like-minded beliefs and values, support each other. If you're an entrepreneur like I am, or even just very independent like I am, this is a good opportunity for you to get together with people that share those values, that share the values of entrepreneurship, independence, and creativity and leadership, right? If you're not an entrepreneur, but you're still vibing on this reading because you can feel that you're tapping into this fresher energy of more power, activation, and abundance, this leg up card could be certainly about something like seeking a mentor, or finding someone that you could relate to that could inspire you or could teach you, someone that could give you that leg up. We can see in the card that there's like, the parent polar bear and then the baby polar bear, right? So when you look at this card, which kind of person are you in that? Are you the person that's maybe meant to give advice and mentorship to someone younger or more in need than you? Or are you kind of the baby polar bear cup that's needing to get more of that leg up from someone maybe with more expertise in this area or could coach you or advise you in some type of way, right? And then with observer, this to me is very like this divine feminine energy. It's saying that sometimes it's okay for you to not, which I will say that this is really badass divine feminine energy, I don't know if I could say that word, but I just did, so be it. But with this observer and divine feminine, it's like allowing yourself to sometimes sit back and observe and watch the dynamics unfold before you kind of fully step in and take action, so this like receptivity here, which is what the divine feminine is so great about. So we do have this message though, because the divine feminine doesn't necessarily link to being like an observer, but I think when we can combine these two things, this is where we can get a lot of like powerful mojo, I found, and it's interesting, so you guys also had the Earth card from the Sacred Activations Oracle, which came up in reverse. So there could be this bit of a little bit of ungrounded energy here with this Earth card coming up in reverse. It might be that you've been so on top of it, going after it. You've been really on your game, like hustling and pushing to get certain things aligned in your life. You have been really approaching things from this place of power and passion. And what you might need to actually do is introduce a little bit more grounding and a little bit more look before you leap kind of vibes here. I don't really get like a bad energy from this at all though. So I feel like this is mostly like 80 to 90%, like keep going, keep doing what you're doing because it's giving you happiness and new beginnings, which is so awesome. Equally though, there might be some of maybe trying to like really overextend yourself or like push where you don't have to push. And it's okay for you to take maybe a little bit of a back seat, maybe on certain projects or in certain areas, and just kind of like see what's happening before you feel compelled to like step in and lead. You know, sometimes like the most powerful leaders are leaders that can also be absolutely in their divine feminine energy and practice receptivity, and they can listen and they can feel and they can tap into things through feelings, right? So there is kind of this keep doing what you're doing, but also watch a little bit for if you're too much like, you know, pushing where you maybe don't need to push, and maybe it's coming across as ungrounded, or just in general you yourself are becoming really ungrounded in that process. And practice just allowing yourself to let things kind of align with you, let things come to you, you know, look at the situation, assess it, make observations, read it, you know, kind of like highlight on it, edit it, write it down, you know, then leave it, and then the next day come back and read it, assess it again, kind of thing. So trying to almost in a way, this is very like balancing Leo versus Aquarius, I will say, because Aquarius is very like scientific energy, you know, which is very good at being able to observe things and look at patterns. And this Queen of Fire is super Leo energy, where it's like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to lead, I've got creative solutions, I know people will follow. So there is this need to kind of balance some of that Leo versus Aqua, and you might be right now being very affected by those oppositions from Mars and Venus in Leo to Saturn in Aquarius that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. So if you skip that, do go back and watch that. But yeah, I get a really overall great vibe for you guys here. Just a couple kind of hints and tips for you to maybe like align your energy and like not overly push or like burn yourself out in this process. So from the Astro Dice, what do we got? I'm feeling called to actually roll it 3 times. So let's do that. Okay, I saw Capricorn, which popped out of the ring there. And then I saw the 11th house. So that's Capricorn vibes, which is Saturn with the 11th house. So this is also you understanding how to structure yourself and sometimes even learn lessons when it comes to working in a group or a community. You know, with this Queen of Fire card being so Leo, it's like it wants that independence. It wants to have the ability to be a leader and to be like kind of on its own. And we live in a world with other people, and we do have to learn how to be embodying that Leo energy in a world where there are also groups, communities, and people that need to sometimes make decisions together. So there could be some lessons being learned here about how to kind of like stand in your power and be true to yourself while also being a part of like a larger group or community, you know. So we do have the 11th house here with this is the North Node, 11th house, North Node, and then Virgo. So which didn't really show up very well, but there it is. You can see it there. So I interpret this as part of the secret sauce. Okay, Virgo went away there. Part of the secret sauce about, for you pile one peeps, getting aligned with how to gel with this group and this community better is to really focus on service. You know, Virgo is all about service, and through service there's humility that comes through that, right? So there's this expression I love, like I'm a super Virgo and I love this expression: when you get nervous, focus on service. So when you feel like, you know, even when I was a public school teacher, I always was very passionate about like, okay, even if there's like some kind of drama going on between students in the classroom, let's bring it back to the content, because that's why we're all here. So we're here to, in this classroom, learn about this particular topic, and that's what we're going to focus on. So kind of getting back to like practical matters in a way, you know, so there might be a way for you to, even if there is some maybe like different viewpoints or some drama in this group dynamic, there's still a way for you to find common ground through work, service, and the general purpose of why you're all together. So if you can dial it back to that and just really focus on more of like the work and service oriented piece of why you're synced up together, I think that will make things really succeed. And with that North Node there, North Node 11th Virgo, it's saying like you are aligning with fated connections and people that are meant to be part of your tribe, to be part of your service here on Earth. So bear that in mind. You know, sometimes we can have resistance, especially if we've been very independent for a while and on our own for a long time. We can have resistance to working with other people because we're used to kind of being solo, you know. So just bear in mind that like not all people are bad, and that it can be good for you to also kind of get back into, you know, doing things or a dynamic with like a group again, or you know, working alongside other people. And definitely for sure that's something that kind of Leo energy is learning right now with Saturn in Aquarius. So there is a lot of learning going on between Leo and Aqua right now for sure. So that's what I have for you, pile one peeps. Love that reading for you. Please give this video a like, drop a comment down below, and let me know how that was for you. I love coming back to my channel and reading your positive, supportive messages. It makes me feel so appreciated and loved for the time and energy that goes into making these videos. And if you feel inclined, my PayPal is also in the description. You can drop a donation there. You can also check out my paid readings and the other offerings I do. And my Etsy shop, a whole bunch of stuff is in there. So do check it out. Okay, pile two peeps. These are the cards for you. Pile one had a wonderful reading with a nice combination of like, keep it up, as well as here's some tips to maybe align a little better. So let's see what you've got, pile two. And I am also going to pull from the chakra love cards just here and now. These are all upside down. I really don't want upside down. I'm going to put these back so that I can pull this right side up, because I'm just not in the mood for upside down with this deck. Okay, got one there. Let's get one more. Okay. Oh, third one popped out as well. I'm also going to roll my Astro Dice for a little bit of extra messages. And as I was doing so for pile one, oh, interesting, you guys got the same message twice, which is always very significant. I'm going to roll these 3 times because that was actually what came through for pile one. Okay, so interesting. So we had Neptune and the 10th house pop out of the circle. So there is a lot going on here with career, but also there's a lot of feelings attached to what's happening here with career, finances, stability, responsibilities. Okay. And then we have Cancer, 3rd house. Yeah, so you're thinking a lot. There's a lot of feelings going on with this situation where you're thinking about your feelings or processing your feelings. And then we've got 2nd house. So this could be related to feeling secure, because this is a Taurus ruled house, your financial assets, your housing, just your self-worth in general. You could be also looking at the value of something and assessing if it's of value or enough value for you. So that could be why there's a lot of feelings, because maybe you see this as like, okay, yes, there is this thing going on, but equally do the feelings align and all of that. And then from the Astro Dice in general, so we have Virgo again, that actually came up for pile one. Virgo in the 7th house, and then Neptune. So yeah, Neptune to the max for you guys. Lots of feelings energy here with Neptune, Virgo, 7th house. So you are in a position with your partnerships and your relationships with other people where you're trying to balance that Virgo Pisces axis, where you're basically saying, okay, what are my feelings about the situation versus what's practical and realistic about this scenario? What do I need to be kind of like nitty gritty about and like do look with discernment about, which is the Virgo, versus where do I need to surrender and let go and kind of release and give it to God, which is the Neptune energy. And you're doing this like assessment, kind of balancing these things out. The 7th house is also a Libra ruled house. So you're literally trying to balance those two different needs, you know, and that can be challenging. Speaking as a super strong Virgo myself, I know I can really relate to this. And, you know, I will say I'm getting the sense, let me just kind of confirm with my pendulum. Yeah, so I feel like at the beginning of next week, when Mercury is actually in Cancer and it's actually in trine to Jupiter in Pisces, which will be a fast moving aspect because Mercury will be up to speed by then and it will move fast. But nevertheless, it will still be there for a few days and it will be a very nice aspect. I think that's really going to help you guys out, Pile 2 peeps, because it's going to give so much more of a like power boost in the energy flow of abundance through emotion and intuition. So it's like the feelings about it will be so, you'll just be on that like feelings ride of like, wow, I'm very aware of how I feel about this and I'm going to trust that. Whereas now you might still be struggling a little bit with like maybe overthinking or analyzing it because Mercury is still in Gemini and it has been in Gemini forever, you know, because we had the Mercury retrograde in Gemini and then we had to clear the post shadow of that. So it's been a long time that Mercury's been in Gemini, which is a very busy mind kind of energy here. And I do see that you guys have been doing a lot of thinking. It's like you've been doing a lot of thinking, maybe mentally as well as emotionally, because we've got the thinker card, literally, and then the high priestess here, you know. So again, it's that energy of like Virgo versus Pisces, like analyzing things, thinking about them, trying to discern this, trying to figure this out, but equally trying to balance this with your intuition and what intuitively you feel about the situation. I think that the scales have been very tipped, to be honest, on this side of things astrologically for like over 6 weeks now, you know. So it's going to really help you out when Mercury does move into Cancer, which is happening really soon now from the date of me recording this video. I think that's going to help you get to a place where you can naturally start to pick up on more of this high priestess energy where it's like, okay, it might not be written in like a textbook, but in this spiritual book, in this like emotional book, I have this awareness and this understanding that this feels really right, that I feel like I need to kind of soften here and be precise here. You'll get a better sense about how you can approach this, you know. You might be a person that's naturally very like, you might have strong Gemini or strong Virgo vibes in your chart, you know. Mercury is at home in Virgo and in Gemini. It does also do pretty well in signs like Aquarius and to an extent also Capricorn, although it's very like takes its time in Capricorn. Mercury's, yeah, so Mercury is in its home or exalted in, you know, Virgo and Gemini, and there's certain signs which it can do really well in, and that would be signs like Aquarius or even Capricorn. Some people do also like Mercury in Libra because it's like a fair assessment. I find that Mercury in Libra though can be sometimes about indecision, you know, it's debatable with that one, but Mercury is definitely most at home when it comes to Virgo and Gemini. Also, Mercury and Libra can bring in this energy of thinking through the lens of relationships. So we can get caught up in like thinking about what the other person wants, you know. It's sort of like, it reminds me of many situations with one of my exes where it would be like, okay, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Right? So like the question would always get pinged back to inviting in the other into the conversation, but it's like you kind of get nowhere because it's like going back and forth between the two people. So anyway, bit of a tangent here, but I'm just saying that there's definitely this energy of like overthinking, and you might naturally be kind of an overthinker just in general, you know, so you need more of this watery energy, and it's coming, you know, although we're in Cancer season and we have this new moon in Cancer, which actually will be good because it will be initiating a 2-week window of more softer, tender emotional energy, which will probably be very good for you. There's also the component of Mercury finally moving into Cancer, you know, which will help a lot. So yeah, lots going on there for you guys. Now we do also have Knight of Air and Time to Go. So it's interesting because on one level, there is this need to balance the analysis paralysis with the need to balance that with your emotions and what your intuition has to say about it. But equally, there is also this message of you're going to have to make a decision sometime or later. And this is indicating that it's pretty soon now that you've got to kind of get on this, you know, so if there's a decision or something that you've been delaying or procrastinating about, this is saying that it would be good for you to really try to move into like doing it, establishing it, getting clear on it. You know, the Knight of Air is very like, yes, I'm moving forward. I'm clear, this is what I'm doing. You know, this card says events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options, creative solutions. So I think about this time to go, it's saying like, you know, you have to make a decision here, whether that's to sign on to this thing or to leave this thing, however that applies to you. You know, I think that you are within right to be balancing kind of the practical and the logical versus the emotional and the intuitive. I think that's been kind of challenging for you lately, but I see you potentially into next week and within this particular new moon cycle, being in a much better place to feel like emotionally you have enough security there to feel like mentally you can now move forward. It's almost like before it was all intellect and it was like, like, I don't know if I feel safe. You guys did actually pull the safety card from the root chakra one, Snowflake Obsidian, and you pulled this in reverse. Okay, so there could be something here where it's like you didn't quite feel safe in some type of way, or maybe you just felt ungrounded about the scenario, or like you couldn't feel like, okay, I can kind of like, you know, I'm actually getting an image of like a person on a ship, and it's like they have wobbly legs. It's like you're on the ship and you're on the boat, but like you're kind of not with it. So now it's like you're moving into this phase of like, okay, I have to figure out how to like man this ship. I have to figure out how to embrace like my pirate nature and like embody being on the ship, and you're going to do it. I really see that you're going to do it. You know, it's just there might be a little bit of like calibrating to some of your emotions here first. Now we do have creativity, which is the throat chakra. It says use creativity to transform your pain into positivity. And then the strength card, strength comes from your connection to the root of your being, and that's the root chakra. Now it's interesting because you guys also pulled strength, or I pulled for you the strength card from the spell casting oracle here. Okay, so we technically have strength in two completely different decks, which is always a very powerful message, you know, and the strength card is about stay the course, hold your ground, keep going, keep working at this. You can do this. It's like this encouragement from the universe to give you the, like, to say you have the skills and the abilities to get through this, whatever it is. Believe in yourself, but don't give up, like keep going, you know. And with this creativity, this throat chakra card, there might be something here where it's like, is there a way for you to take all of this kind of like pros and cons and like analysis going on in your head and kind of fuel that energy into something? So sometimes I find it's even just a good regular practice to be nightly journaling to my angels, doing automatic writing. Sometimes I do voice memos where I just get the energy out and I just kind of like ramble. That can really help you. And then you can play it later and like re-witness yourself back, you know, because sometimes it's like you have to just talk it out in order to access the deeper feelings under that. But like I said, I do feel like better energy is coming ahead in terms of connecting your thoughts with your feelings. So if you've been kind of struggling with that, or just struggling with just in general feeling like you have access to your feelings, I do think better energy will be coming ahead with that. But I mean, overall, we have card number 22, blessed. So this is saying that, you know, it's just such a fun card because like, it does involve a certain level of surrender, because if you notice, it's like she's completely suspended in the air, but she's got these like cute fairy wings, and she has like gorgeous hair and like the crown and the stars around her, and there's like rose petals underneath. So there is so much beauty to this card, you know, but she's still a little bit in this shell, you know, this is kind of like the Nautilus shell. So it's a little bit Cancer in a way, actually, this energy. It's like, you know, you honor the fact that that there is something good happening here, but equally you feel a little bit guarded, a little bit protective about maybe fully moving into it, fully like intellectually committing to it or doing something with it in some type of way. So, you know, I would just say honor where you're at, honor the fact that you feel blessed, and honor the fact that you feel yourself moving. I get a really strong movement energy to this card, but equally honor the fact that maybe there's more things you have to understand in order to feel more secure in the situation. You know, maybe it's like you've manifested a new relationship or a new job or something here, or even like you moved into a new house. You know that this is like the right fit, but you feel kind of uncomfortable right now with certain things. So maybe you have to talk it out or do some rearranging. There's still some like stuff that needs to be kind of figured out here in order for you to feel more safe. This could also be an indication that, you know, we are, what are we at? Like about a week and a half left of Cancer season. So this could be also just saying like, this is partially a phase that you're in where you're doing some assessing and you're moving forward, but you're still a little bit maybe guarded and protected. Maybe this will go on for like the next week and a half. And then when we move into Leo season, it's like, boom, you're ready. You are ready to be seen. You're ready to get out there, you know, and you're ready to kind of break out of that shell, if you will. And then the last card we have here is synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. That was a mouthful. So yeah, I feel like this is just really reinforcing a lot of what your message was about, which is that there is some type of like newness here to this creation, and there might be some type of vulnerability that's associated with that, you know. It says the unfamiliar, embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. So it's just, again, this nudge of like, even though you might feel a little bit protective, a little bit guarded about this thing, if you have enough, like even like 60, like over 50% evidence from your feelings and your emotions that it feels good, go for it, you know. And I do get the sense though that there's still maybe a little bit more that you would desire to understand in order to feel more comfortable. So you might be working on that for the first half of this new moon in Cancer cycle, where you're kind of gathering more emotional information about it so you can feel safe to like move forward with it. And I had another intuitive hit, but it went away. So I'm just going to surrender it. So that's what I have for you, pile 2 peeps. I like this reading. It's a little bit here and there, but you absolutely can get through this with the strength card here. I mean, coming up twice, it's, you know, whenever I pull the strength card, whenever I'm going through stuff, it's always just my reminder of like, even though it feels like, like UGH, like, you know, like to the max in that moment, you will be able to look back on this time like a week or 2 weeks or even a month or more from now and just really reflect and be like, yes, that was challenging, that was awkward, that was difficult, but I did get through it. You will get to the other side. You wouldn't pull the strength card if you couldn't get through it, or it wasn't meant for you to get through it, right? If you were like meant to really walk away from this, you would get like 8 of Cups or like other things, you know? So the Strength card is just like, you can do this. The Strength card absolutely contains the energy too about, look how she's got those 2 lion cubs, right? So it's being able to be gentle and to be tender with yourself and other people as necessary, while equally knowing when you need to kind of stand up for yourself, you know? And I do get this energy of like, by the beginning of Leo season, you know, with those lion cubs there, it's like by the beginning of Leo season, you get to a place where you feel comfortable enough to kind of like stand on your own legs or paws about it, you know, and feel like, okay, I'm confident enough now with this. And that's coming up fast now, you know, about another week and a half from the time of me doing this video. So even if you're still like, I don't know, like more feelings will be emerging, more like energy will be coming out of this. And I think you're going to feel more confident from this situation, or you will feel more confident about this situation in the weeks to come. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you really did, please give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Drop a comment down below. I love coming back to my channel and reading your positive, supportive messages. It keeps me going to want to come back and make more videos. So please, please do so. Also, there is a link in the description to my PayPal. You're encouraged to leave a donation there and support my channel, support my work as a spiritual healer and a small business owner. It helps me so very much. There's also some options there if you would like to monthly subscribe for a small amount, and that's like an even bigger help. So look into that, and I will see you guys at the next new full moon. Okay, pile 3 peeps. These are the cards for you. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a little bit more drained doing this pick a card video than I usually do. I'm gonna actually smudge a little bit here just to clean up some energy. Pile 1 and pile 2 have had really great, positive, like, but also very clear, this is what's going well. This is what you need to kind of adjust and tailor kind of energies. So let's see what we get for you guys. I'm just gonna light my smudge stick first here. Okay, just sending some extra smudging and clearing energy. I want to thank my fairy sister Dana for sending me smudge sticks, which I so very much needed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, sister, if you're watching. And I'm also gonna smudge with some Palo Santo here. So, I mean, this might also be a message for you guys as well. Like, are you taking time to do the little things that help you to clear your energy and to feel like you have sacred space, okay? The new moon in Cancer is all about definitely embracing that energy of self-care and things related to home and mothering, including self-mothering and self-nurturing, okay? Interesting, because you guys do have this in the cards. So we have solar plexus chakra and boundaries right away. Okay, so we definitely, and it's interesting because after I finished pile 2 and got to your reading, I felt this heaviness. So there might be something here where it's like, is there a lot going on around you that you're absorbing, or is draining you or affecting your confidence in some type of way? This is definitely an indication that maybe you need to kind of clear your energy more and kind of shield up a bit better, you know, because it might be really affecting you. Particularly the solar plexus does relate to the inner child. It's the stomach, and it's balancing work and play. So if life has been feeling all work and like no play, build in some time for play. Build in working with the color yellow, okay? Working with yellow candles. In fact, it's funny, but so my Aloha Bay candle recommendation, this was not the recommendation for this month. This will be coming up in future months. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter. You know, the Manipura chakra, you know, which is the solar plexus. So working with the yellow candles, yellow crystals, working with citrine, you know, working with citrine, working with tiger's eye is also a good one for confidence. That one is interesting because it's like solar plexus, but also kind of root chakra in certain ways. Yellow calcite is also a very affordable crystal. You can work with that one. I mean, there's so many delicious and delightful crystals, you know. Golden healer quartz is another really good one. But yeah, definitely building in some energy here to work on the solar plexus chakra will be really good for you. Also, I will say just straight up, getting out in the sun can also really help you, as well as eating yellow foods. So like mangoes, pineapples, all that good stuff, okay? Now, we do have here, Angels, where do you want me to go next? Okay, they want me to go here. So we have soul time. This is exactly what I was saying at the beginning. It's like crazy how the cards complement stuff in this way. So we have soul time, and this is coming up in reverse. So this is like you not really taking enough time for yourself. You know, maybe you've been just like pushing yourself really hard or absorbing energies from other people really hard. You have to take time to do like those little things like the smudging and the, you know, the candle lighting and like the smoothie making and the sunshine soaking and all of that. And you do have chopped wood here, which is definitely the card about, you know, I'm hearing many hands make light work. So there's somebody watching this, or some of you where you actually need to ask people to help you out with like chores or just stuff that needs to get done, you know, ask for the help that you need. Or if you're listening to that and you're like, you know, I feel like I have energy to give, maybe this is a cue for you to volunteer or offer your services or your ability to help someone else that maybe is overworked, you know. But with this soul time card, like if you're watching this and you're like, wow, I just really know that my hubby or my wife or my partner or whomever, my friend or whatever it is, I know that they could actually use my help because they're not getting enough soul time. I'm seeing it, I'm witnessing it. Offer, you know, is there something I could do to help you out? And see what they say. They might be like, oh my gosh, yes. You know. So it's interesting too, just look at the difference between these two energies. So it's almost like in this one, that yellow is there, but it's very faint and it's like all the way concentrated to the center. Whereas in this one, it's like so radiant and so bright. So it's almost like right now that solar plexus chakra is really like contracted inwards and kind of dimmed in a certain way. So you have to kind of work on almost like figuring out how to get back to more of a bright solar plexus chakra, you know, and maybe you take this new moon in Cancer cycle as a window of time for you to start building in these small spiritual routines and these small acts of self-care that will really help you to kind of establish more soul time, okay, because you did pull that in reverse. Now you do also have compassion here, and this came up in reverse. So this could be yet another layer of this. The solar plexus chakra is, to me, very strongly linked to Virgo because it's the stomach, and Virgo does relate to digestion in the stomach. And you know, the shadow side of that energy can be like being overly critical of yourself or other people. So where in this equation are you being too critical of yourself or too critical of other people? Where do you need to kind of dial that back to maybe a more loving place, a more balanced place, you know? That could also be part of this story. And then they want me to go a couple places at once. I'm going to pull for you from the Chakra Love card a deck. What did I just say? I'm going to pull for you from the Chakra Love deck a card here. I think I mixed up the words. Oh my gosh, you guys. You can't make this stuff up. It's a solar plexus chakra card. Okay, I know it's not very clear. It's totes related to this webcam, which I'm trying to raise funds to get a new webcam, which is a lot more money than this one was. See at the beginning of my video if you missed that part, or drop a donation to my PayPal. It would help me with that. But that is my plea for help. That is me asking for help. Solar plexus chakra, rutilated quartz. So it says confidence. No one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Be your own cheerleader. Isn't there a song with a lyric that's like about be your own cheerleader? There definitely is. If somebody knows what that song is, put it in the comments because there's something there with that, but I don't know who it is. So yeah, solar plexus chakra. So this has come up twice, solar plexus chakra. So yeah, there is a need here to like refill that solar plexus chakra to boost your confidence. Okay. It might be something here where it's like, for whatever reason, maybe you're listening to other people's criticisms, or like you're absorbing too much negativity, or just you're not taking time for yourself to have fun and to play. Your solar plexus chakra is kind of like, it's like a dim light bulb, you know, it's like trying to light up really bright, but it's struggling. So you need to put some focus there. Okay. And then we do have here from the Angel Tarot cards, ego, Archangel Jophiel, a false sense of entrapment, negative fear-based thoughts. And then we also have Page of Air, logical, honest, impulsive, curious, challenging information, you know, truth delivered without tact. So Page of Air is definitely, you know, this is like this energy coming through that's related to information and messages. It could be like emails and phone calls, stuff like that. The shadow side of this type of card, especially because it did come up in reverse, could be this energy of like gossip, you know, and like, are you kind of talking about people behind their back, or like other people talking about you behind your back? I get the sense that it might be that, like, you know, a little of both, to be honest, but this could also be too, just like, because there's a lot here that's very focused on you, you know, so there could be something here where it's like, you're wanting to move forward. You do have this card here as serendipity, which is like a super good luck card, and like things aligning for you that are right for you. You want to move forward into this like good luck energy, but you might have this like negative self-talk of like, good things never happen to me, and like, I can't manifest things. I feel like it's actually more of that and not as much of like people kind of like talking behind your back. Although for some of you, not all of you, there could be some of that because you have the boundaries card here. But there's definitely this energy of like possibly negative self-talk, feeling like you're stuck in the situation or that you're trapped, and that's actually draining your sense of feeling happy, confident about it, you know? So really try to like see, how can I get myself out of this cycle? Because it's almost like boosting your solar plexus chakra is actually going to really help you with dissolving this sense of entrapment and this negative self-talk. You know, when we think about like little kids, right, and how they just like have confidence and they just like, they don't care about things, right? You need to get to this place where you feel more happy, more confident, and maybe that does involve you taking a lot more time to boost that solar plexus chakra, balance work and play, get out in the sun more, work with the color yellow a lot more in crystals and candles and various things, to just get to a place where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm more filled up, so that when there's maybe this like, whether it's psychic attack energy or just in general, like critical people around you, or even just yourself being critical of yourself, you're kind of able to like withstand that because you've filled up your like solar plexus chakra tank to a certain amount that it's like, you can handle it, you know. But if your tank's really low and you're dealing with that, it's like, well, you're just going to drain your fuel even more, you know. So, but we do have the serendipity cards. This is saying like, it might not be all as bad as you think, you know, and there's a lot of good luck here. There's a lot of good luck things aligning. You know, I went through something recently. This is like a very small manifestation, but it was something that I really wanted to do. And I just really could not see or figure out how it was going to work out. There was a lot of like blocks and obstacles and challenges for me to see how I could go and do the thing. So I just reached a point where I was like, all right, I just completely surrender this. I'm going to stop analyzing it and stop trying to figure out how it works. I'm just going to surrender it. And that's that. And maybe I just won't do it, you know? And then in a really interesting way, just a day or two ago, it worked out perfectly for me I was in the right place at the right time to jump on getting tickets to something that will allow me to go in a much more structured way, which is what I was wanting, and just gave me a clear plan of how I can do it. And it's something completely related to my inner child and balancing work and play. So I'm really excited that it's now looking, fingers crossed, likely that it will align. So it's stuff like that where it's like, you know, don't underestimate like having a play date with yourself and like the power of doing things like that for yourself. But sometimes we do have to almost like go through this energy of like resistance or a crisis and then come to a place of surrender, you know, before we can get to the other side. And that's okay. It's all part of the process. And I do feel like if something's really meant to align because you want it and it's right for you, you will find that the universe will make it work out for you. Even when you're like, I don't know how this is going to work out, it's still going to be like, okay. And you'll know if it's like, okay, I have resistance, I feel stressed about it, and I just feel like this is not going good. My feelings kind of tell me otherwise. That's when you know that maybe you got to let it go and see if it comes back to you, or maybe it's just not meant to be, etc. But yeah, I like this energy for your pile 3. It's a very honest reading, which is saying like you need to work on this chakra. It's extremely clear, like you need to work on balancing work and play, and you need to work on clearing out some of that negative self-talk and that negative energy, and being more filled up with this energy of more joy and play, so that you can kind of increase more of this good luck vibes, which are definitely kind of like floating around you, but I think could be enhanced by you working on this chakra. So that's what I have for you, pile 3. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, drop a positive supportive comment down below. I love coming back to my channel and reading how you guys relate to the piles. It makes me feel so loved and appreciated, and it does also help my channel. If you feel inclined, you can also drop a donation to my PayPal, which is in the description of this video. That helps me out as a content creator and a small business owner so very much to afford getting new tools and things for my business. It really, really helps. And you can also see my website, my Etsy shop, linked in the description as well, so you can check that out. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here, sending you love, and I will see you guys at the next new or full moon. Bye.